Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, August 15th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using a 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol TSHA, big mover today and a nice little pattern here taking shape headed into Tuesday. And the first level that stands out to me at least is this apparently very nice level of support down there at $1.60. You can see that earlier on in the day after the price made that breakout move right there, came back down, went sideways, and it consolidated right there at that $1.60 mark before the nice move here which we're witnessing right now. So as of right now, there's not a whole lot to talk about because the breakout has happened. Now that's, from one angle kind of disappointing, but it's always in the watch, or I should take a step back. The whole idea of a watch list is to find unique, to find interesting situations and not randomly rush out and start buying stuff, but to watch it. And at least in my opinion, a unique and interesting situation is where breakouts do happen. Because when breakouts like this do happen, it's very valid to now be able to ask the question, okay, wow, is this the start of something bigger? Think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile happens in the first place. But something worthwhile has happened, being the breakout. So yes, it does make total sense to be asking that question. Okay, sure, maybe you missed the breakout, but if this is breakout and it's just starting and it gets much bigger, well, then there's still going to be opportunity to come moving forward. So if you like these sorts of scenarios, you like stocks down below the $5 mark, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC, and just absolutely destroyed today with a big gap down. But what makes this very interesting is, first off, it is a very popular stock, no doubt about that. And the fact that this thing has started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there was a big gap down and just because the price started to go sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and that for sure guaranteed there's going to be some sort of big bounce upwards. My point here is it at least plausible? Is it valid to think that way? Absolutely. Case in point, let's say that AMC gap down. This will mean a bit more to those that have traded for a while, but if you have, I'm sure you've seen stocks that gap down, and then after that gap down, they just bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. So if that were occurring, then I was saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom, you'd be justified to say, what are you talking about? It's literally just bleeding to the downside. But that's not the case here. It has at least gone sideways. Again, does that mean guaranteed bottom? No. But does that mean a rational thought process to have? Absolutely. And again, because it's such a well-known stock, you got to think that a lot of people are watching, looking for any excuse to buy. So if you like these sorts of scenarios where you get a popular stock beat down, but at least starts to go sideways, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, WE, and overall, the chart's holding up just fine. I've talked about this over the past couple of days, but it's been all about that 19-cent mark right there, that green line. And as long as the price stays above that level, then that does imply that the price is working on building a higher base. And as of now, there is a higher base, and that's what you want to see. So 19 cents continues to hold. So that in and of itself is a good sign. Now, was today like some sort of like magical, mystical, huge, exciting day? No, it was, in fact, maybe it felt like a really bad day because it didn't explode or anything like that. But like I said, from the bigger picture, you got to look at it as the price is still maintaining above that 19-cent mark, which therefore leads to a higher base. And that's what truly strong moves are going to do. They're going to build higher bases over time. In terms of areas of resistance, I think a level now that to keep an eye on and that at least stands out to me is by getting that trend line in place right there. So keep an eye on that, which puts the breakout point right up there around the 25-cent mark, give or take a little bit. So watch that. But from the bigger picture point of view, like I said, there is still that higher base in place, which is a good step in the right direction. Next one here, APE. So the kind of alternate personality of AMC. These ones always kind of, have big days whenever they're in the news because it's essentially the same stock in some, not the same stock, but you know what I mean. They're basically like twins. And this one has a very nice pattern here moving forward. So let's map out the levels that you got to think a lot of people are watching. So we have a resistance trend line right there. And then as far as the supports are concerned, let's just use a horizontal line now that I think about it. Make it easier to see. We have this area of support right there at about the 205 mark. Change that to green to represent support. And then just to make this pattern easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big move up right here. A few golfers. We'll put a golf hole down here, make it a little bit more visual. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go up. But is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can work its way back up here and get a break up through the top part of that pattern, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like stocks down below $5, then I definitely keep it on your watch list. Next one here, GNS. I'm going to go through this one very quickly because you just heard me talk about this with APE. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support down here at $1.37. And then you have, keep it one color again, resistance, support, nice move up, golfle down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So you just heard me give the speech on bull pennants. Same exact general idea applies here. So again, same price range, bull pennant. So now you got a variety to choose from. Real quickly, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering this week, later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, RGTI, and we've been talking about this quite a bit. Now, this is a little bit of a different pattern, but the fact is, yes, as of now this afternoon, there has been this downwards channel that has formed. So yes, depending on your standpoint, if you're a day trader and you bought like right there, then and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then from that perspective, the chart, it looks pretty bad because there was a bigger pullback here. However, if you care about the grand scheme of things, you'll say, okay, yeah, fair enough, Clay, there has been a pullback, there is this downwards channel, but what was happening before this downwards channel? And you would then say, well, there's this big move up right here, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. So slightly different than a bull pennant pattern, but in some senses, pretty much the same thing. So like I said, sure, the price has pulled back this afternoon, but when you factor in what was going on this morning, you got that nice move up. So to summarize, you have a bull flag pattern on this one. So assuming you do care about the bigger picture point of view, then the pattern is still perfectly fine. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and overall, basically what I warned about previously, how yes, on Friday there was this nice upwards move here, but when you factor in the entire context and the move down, instead of a bull flag pattern, what we had on Friday was this bear flag pattern, which then got continuation to the downside. And I go over all that because sort of a case of deja vu, once again, from the lows here to where it's bounced up to, yes, there's no doubt about it. Nice move overall throughout the course of the day. But when you factor in everything else and what was going on before, we now essentially have a bear pennant pattern. So but I also want to be fair. I mean, just because something's bullish does not mean the price is going to go up for sure. Just like if something's bearish does not mean the price is going to go down for sure. But as I said previously, and sort of a broken record, but that's what happens when, Tesla kind of gets in these downwards moves, is yes, get excited. That's fine. You can be excited that the price made a nice move upwards. But as I just illustrated, also be skeptical because in all actuality, all it's done from the bigger picture point of view is formed a bear pennant pattern. So while that doesn't guarantee anything, would it be shocking to see the price roll back over once again? I don't think that would catch anybody off guard or be a shock to anybody. Next one here, NIO, and again, same exact idea as what I just talked about with Tesla, so I'm going to go through this one very quick. So yes, to give credit where credit's due, from the bull side of things, very impressive bounce. There's no doubt about it. That was absolutely a terrible supposed straight line. Let's try that again. There we go. No doubt about it. There was an upwards channel that formed throughout the course of the day, but from the bigger picture point of view, what was going on before the down or upwards channel here? Well, you had this move down here. So now we have a bear flag pattern. So same general idea, guaranteed to go back downwards? Absolutely not. So yes, be excited, be bullish, but be skeptical because nobody would be caught off guard if all of a sudden this thing got the bearish break to the downside. So good move today, sure, but within the bigger picture, what we have for NIO is a bear flag pattern. Next one here, AMD, and a little bit different because AMD on the bounce has pushed up through a couple of key areas of resistance. So you can't, I mean, in some way or shape, you could draw still some form of bear flag pattern or something like that. But for me, it's much different here because this thing has come up to not only the levels of resistance both there and then the resistance right there. It's gone up to both, and not only has it gone up to both, it's broken through both. So that illustrates that, yeah, there's still more work that needs to be done, but you got to give credit where credit's due. This was a much more powerful bounce than what I would say NIO or Tesla made. So a couple updates here. We're going to go ahead and just get rid of that level right there. And first key update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward, 108.50 still going to be a key level, and that's important because you don't want to see the price go back to where it was, and that's what's being represented here. I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down to 108.50 and then break down below, what would you have? Well, in this situation, you would quite literally have the price having gone right back to where it just was, and that's not exactly as strong of a sign of a truly strong move, right? For something to bounce and then all of a sudden go right back to where it was. But if it comes down here and behaves like this before curling back upwards, well, now all of a sudden, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows right here. You'd have a low down there. And if you envision those as stair steps, you now have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what you want to see. You want to see progress, which brings about the point, okay, fair enough, Clay, you want to see progress, but define progress because that's just a word. And again, in this situation, quote unquote, progress being defined as 108.50. If this move continues up, key level of resistance, watch very closely. Going to be all about that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. So watch that very closely. But all in all, good, solid day. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. And you can see here that the last 30 minutes, as I speak, good solid green candle. So needless to say, the NASDAQ has had a good solid final portion of the day as this thing really just gets a good solid candle. So like earlier, yes, if you're looking to play that breakout right there, so you had this little bullish pattern, yes, technically speaking, you have officially now, you've missed the breakout because the breakout has already happened. But as a quiz, what question do we now get to ask ourselves? Well, okay, great. Is this the start of something even bigger? Which is, in some situations, I think a more exciting question as compared to, okay, will this break out? Now it's, okay, it has already broken out. But yeah, is this the start of something even bigger? So in that angle, very exciting headed into Tuesday here for the NASDAQ as a whole. Very strong close. And now to be fair, maybe this isn't. Maybe this is just a one little candle wonder and it rolls right back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, I mean, well, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing just starts to rip and roar to the upside. So like I said, if you like these sorts of scenarios, then keep an eye on it. But overall, very strong close to the end of the day here. So we'll see if the bulls can build upon this momentum on Tuesday. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to go get signed up for the class later this week. It'll be Thursday, August 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me to communicate. Hit that like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, give me a smiley face. But those two things communicate to me that you enjoy, they help out the channel. And as long as I know that you're enjoying, I'll continue to get this content out to you. So again, go get signed up for that free class, hit that like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.